my student today. This is going to be fun and adventurous. We're making dream catchers. This goes along with the take and make packet we did in November, and just kind of something fun to make. So we're going to make these, or the take and make packet version also. So what you'll need is a hoop, metal, plastic, or I even use the, when I make these I also use the styrofoam ones that you can make for your front doors. Scissors, yeah, your wreaths. Scissors, a hot glue gun, or fabric glue, which this is what we'll use to wrap because this works a lot well. Yarn of any color. Some yarn can be inside, but you'll need braided rope. You can find this in the same aisle at Hobby Lobby with the hoops and leatherwork, kind of near the kids' toys. And then an assortment of ribbons and other fun things. Buttons or beads, that's lace. Flowers to adorn your center, or the area of weaving on your dream catcher. Erin wants the fall color. I'm doing the red carpet color. So I honestly just guesstimate. You can just start unwrapping. There's no really, you need like 3 meters of this or 2 inches of this. It's just, I say pull until you think that it's not gonna cover it anymore. Erin and I are doing 14-inch hoops. If you don't cut enough, that's fine. You just tie it off and glue it, and then you'll get extra just in case, which we might do that, we don't know. We'll see. Alright, so grab your hoop. For me, it's easier to put it in my lap and then lean it up against the table. Okay. So you're tying it. Grab it, and just take a knot, or make a knot, and then I tie it twice. So I do 1 knot on top, and then I just go back around and tie it again. Then I grab the glue, and I glue on top of the knot, that way I make sure the knot is secured. So it's kind of like you're gluing the knot together. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. I rub it in. It's just a thing. And this glue peels off your skin easily. And cut off your straggly tail. So you have it tied, you've glued your top, you're good to go? Yep. So, take your glue, unless you're using a hot glue gun. Now if you're using a hot glue gun, be careful, you don't want to go too far out, because by the time, if you go like this far out with your hot glue gun, by the time you get to the end, it's already going to be dry, you'll have to peel off the dry part. So
which is always fun.
So with your glue, your fabric glue, or your hot glue gun, make you a strip of a glue bead. And then we'll go from there. Also, expect your yarn to be tangled on and off throughout this entire adventure. You will get frustrated. So grab this part, hold on to your thing with your thumb if you can. And then you just tightly wrap like that thing. You're gonna wanna move your yarn as you go. This is fun. And wrap.
Okay, so it's gonna get all tangled up.
Oh yeah, you're gonna
That's
get
what you were
tangled up.
saying.
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna get tangled up. So yeah, from this you want to tightly wrap. So you want your last yarn piece to touch the yarn piece you're wrapping. Continually do this all the way around.
What's the most time-consuming part of this? Is this
This and probably actually doing the tail, depending on how you want to do the tail. The most time-consuming part is wrapping and the tail.
When you make a hoop,
Mm-hmm.
do you have a design in mind, or do you just kind of get inspired by what you have?
Both. So I told you that, what was it, last year, the year before, I made a different hoop for each month for my mother.
Mm-hmm.
So March is all green because of St. Patrick's Day. May is my birthday, but it's also Lupus Awareness Month, and so I did green and purple and pink for Lupus, or for May. You come to the end of that first strand, just like you did the first time, hold your string tight, or your yarn tight, make you another glue thing, start again. I don't really always just have a design, and I don't always have a theme. It's just how I feel that day, or how I'm looking at my yarn. And it takes patience to wrap your hoop.
We'll see if I have the patience.
20 minutes in. I can't help! Erin, we're not even to the weaving yet. I can't help! See, but like for yours and your mother's and your mom and dad's where it's the Mickey one, I automatically knew I'm going to use black yarn for the outside. I'm going to have red and or gold mixed into it, or yellow of some sort mixed into it. I knew Minnie Mouse had to have a bow. Instantly if you're doing it based off of a character, what you're going to put on it.
And that's something too. I mean, you need specific things. You need yarn for wrapping and stuff like that, but you can use anything.
Oh yeah, I've used leather, leftover leather. Like I've used belts. I've used suede. I've actually wrapped it in ribbon before. There's some things that'll work perfectly, and some things that it takes you a moment, and you're like, we have to start all over again.
That's why it's kind of cool, because I mean, it's whatever you want it to be.
Exactly. Also,
how did you get started in dream catching?
I got bored. Like anything with me, I get bored. But no, I wanted to get to, we were talking one day about our family tree and how, all the different things, kind of like how you and I've been talking recently, all of our different nationalities that kind of make up our bloodline. And we're talking about how on my mother's side of the family, we have Native American in and out of our ancestry all over the place. And so I wanted to do something, representative of that side of my family. And so I don't really have anything specifically just in touch with my Native American side, so I wanted to make dream catchers. So I actually looked up multiple tutorials and different ways to do them, and I just got involved in it. So I know you like your Minnie Mouse one.
I love my Minnie Mouse one.
And I knew Maudie loved her owl one that I made her.
That was real cool too.
I made an owl one. It's supposed to represent the eyes of an owl. And I gave it to Maudie when she first started working here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a hassle to make, because trying to get the two hoops after you wrap them to connect, and then getting the beads in the right placement, and finding the feathers you want, it's crazy nonsense. But the specialty ones like the owl and Minnie and Mickey Mouse, they're fun to make.
If you didn't put glue all around the circle like we're doing, what would happen?
It would just slowly unravel over time. Like, you have to, I have one. The one in your office does not have glue all the way around it. That first one I gave you?
The first one?
The turquoisey one? All that it is just a tightly wound wrap. But over time, it might loosen or settle, so it'll slowly come up an area. So the glue is just to make sure that while you're doing this, it sets, and it just... If you notice, Erin and I have little binder clips. Whenever we get to a stopping point, like how she's doing now, where she needs to untangle it, it's easy to just clip it on, that way nothing comes undone on your hoop. Or if you need to go to the bathroom while you're making this, you can clip it there, and that's your end point, or your starting point when you come back, and everything will be settled and glued down.
Honestly, this is taking a lot less yarn than I thought. Like, when I was pulling it out, I'm like, this is not going to be enough.
And you think that, and so that's why I said you normally keep the extra, whatever's left over when you cut it off, as part of your tell, if you want to use that in your tell, or
I really expected this to be needing more.
What other questions do you want? See, Erin's is all wrapped now. I'm gonna get mine wrapped, and then we'll discuss how to tie them off, and then I'll show you guys and Erin how to do one version of the inside weaving, and then we'll actually do a traditional weaving.
So this is like crocheting for you, because I've heard that crocheting is kind of a mindless, you can just do it and have a conversation, you can do it and
Yeah, I don't have to look at what I'm doing kind of right now just to sit here. I can stare at you and talk to you. So the inside of your dream catchers have to be tight. Cool. As hard as you can.
Oh, it's gonna rip.
Uh-huh. And so pull that one a little bit hard, almost the same hardness. It's not gonna rip as hard. It ripped, but not as easy.
Fast. Yeah.
So the thicker yarn, if you do this thick yarn, baby blanket yarn, you can do that as the inside. I have like this with this one, I've done it on the inside, and I've done it to the I've done it to big ones also. They don't rip and tear apart as easy as your thinner yarn.
That makes sense. That is the explanation I needed.
And the corded braid, you use that because, or the braided cord. The braided cord, you use that because the braid helps strengthen the cord.
Sure.
And it's stronger, and you can get as tight as you need to get. Okay, so I have a couple of wraps left. When you get towards the end, you're probably going, Kim, what are we gonna do with the rest of this rope?
Kim, what are we gonna do with the rest of this rope?
Alright, well, we might use it for our tail. You're gonna get your glue. You're gonna kind of come in over your original thing. I'm gonna do that thing. So you're just gonna glue on top of your original knot, and then you're gonna wrap that over your knot, original knot. Cut it off from your extra, leave you a good piece. So what you're gonna do is you're going to tie it. Make you your second knot. You just tie that on top of that glued area, pull it tight, and then glue that knot like you did the first knot, just to make sure it stays.
Not that.
And then now you should just have your normal knot, or your normal wrap tube. For the take and make insides, you already had your pre-done innards weaving. You're going to take an end and just tie it somewhere onto your thing. Again, for the take and make ones, I think we asked you to put it towards the bottom of the hoop where the plastic tubing connected the plastic tubings. Just so...
Double knot?
Yes, no.
So just like you started before.
Mm-hmm. So what you're going to do is you're going to take it, it's tied, and you just start going around. Make any design, back and forth, zigzag.
This is where Erin is not creative.
And then you get to the end, where you feel like you're done with your design. See, that looks like a clamshell.
Problem is mine's not gonna stay. Can I glue it?
If you want to.
Like these side ones?
Okay, so when you get to the end of your string, you just tie you a knot again. This is a lot of glue, just saying. You tie you a knot again, you cut your extra, and you glue it. So it should kind of look something like that. I had a lot of extra inside stuff, so yours probably won't be as crazy, but make sure you wrap it tight. You want it tight, so it doesn't come apart. Erin made a clamshell.
Yeah, I'm gonna add a little hot glue to the ends of these so that it stays. It's never wrong.
No, it's never wrong.
This is my first one, by the way, so just FYI.
She's actually been really pretty doing it this way.
If anyone has wondered. Okay.
Cool. So the tail for the small guys is going to be the same tail for the big guys. So time to grab you some. If you're doing a weaving, a traditional weaving like I'm about to show you, either really thick yarn or braided cord. Okay, so now this all depends on you, but this is just a thing I do. I find where I made my original knot from my wrapping, and that's where I also tie, because I also put that as my bottom. Just because I don't think that area looks pretty.
A little bit of a lump.
Yeah, it has that lump there, so I always put that as my bottom, because then the tail covers that. The reason why you want to double knot these more so than the wrap, though, is because of how tight you have to get the weaving. And just glue the top of that knot like we did everything else. And then that's the last time we're going to glue until we get the knot for the ending of this. So this first time around, you want odd around. So if you wrap it like 12 times, you want to all try to throw in the 13th time, kind of like you did with wrapping, but you're gonna not tightly wrap it, you're gonna loosely pull it tight, loosely wrap it over. Alright, so that first wrap you did with your inside, you pull it underneath and through. You want to make sure all these tangly bits. So you're going to do the same thing through all of them. You're going to pull down the string you had wrapped around your original hoop, go under the hoop. Okay, so you can see my hoop. Pull down the original string, bring your cable through, that is through the hoop, or through underneath the hoop, through the thing, and pull it.
just like that.
You're gonna do that all the way around the thing. But you're gonna pull tight. Pull tight. Because you can see from the first time to the second time, there should be just like a straight line from each thing. See, I don't know if you can see it on mine, but we're just adding this layer right here. You're going to be doing this the whole way until you get to the circle. So once you've made that first row, you've already wrapped the...
Done with the first row?
Yeah, once you've already wrapped the circle and you've done this first row to kind of just make this area here, you're going to do the exact same thing, but you're just going to go with what you just wrapped. Make sure you're pulling tight as you go.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all I just got to remind you is, as long as you're doing this type of a weave, you want it.
It's looking pretty.
It is pretty. So on Erin's, when you go get your last one before you start where you started to, your circle to here, it'll come straight from where you reached over the hoop to where you started going through. You actually use that area. She's doing it! Look at that! Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut you off a good amount of string left over. Pull tightly. No, don't go into the next one, but stay in the one you just did. Let's go under and make a knot. You're gonna cut your string and then use glue. Now this should be the last time we're gluing today, guys. Glue your knot, that way it doesn't come undone. Now I got glue all over my hands. Okay, here's the fun part. Before you do your tail, if you want anything glued to the weaving of your insides, so like if Erin wanted a flower on hers, or if I wanted a flower on mine, this is the part you do it. This is where you get your flowers out, and you maneuver them around your hoop, where you're gonna want them to be. This is mine. I put buttons on mine, and Erin made her a flower. It's pretty. Time for the tail. We have multiple fall colors of tail. I'm gonna use some of my yarn. I know that I used to wrap with.
Sorry.
So depending on the size of your dream catcher is gonna be depending on the size of your tail. So your big ones are gonna have a little bit of a longer tail, and your small ones are pretty much gonna be the size of your catcher. So a thing I do, so I take the end of my yarn I used, hold it to there, back, just loose, and then back again. So you want it to be 3 times. And then the end to end. So you want it to be 1 string. Come down here to your center. What you're going to do is you're going to find a hole. You're going to pop it through. And you kind of want it to come around again. Pull through.
Hey! You look very skinny. Can't see the white belly.
I see it though. It gives it that accent. And the same way you do the tails for the big guys is how you do the tails for the little guys.
Pity, that curl adds a lot.
Right? That's really pretty.
Thank you.
And that's how you make dream catchers. Dream catchers.
There you go.
We hope you enjoyed making these with our Take and Make packets. And you enjoy just, making them from time to time. I know I probably didn't explain them well enough, so I will leave a link to the instructions. So y'all have fun, and we'll see you later. Bye!